Hey guys, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. So I'm wearing my jacket that I made that I showed you guys, and yes, it is lined. um let's talk about February. February was not a good reading month for me because, again, like I said in my last video, no sleep. And it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. It's just countdown to a different schedule, and I just have to hang on for 2 more weeks, and then I will be getting to a schedule that will allow me to sleep. So until then, I gotta push through. So I had about, I believe, 9 books on my TBR, and I think I've only completely read and finished 5. Yes, 5. Yes. So it's not completely a bust, but I had high hopes. I was in a mood to read, and instead I just didn't read as much, and I was doing a lot of sewing. And so you found my Instagram stories, you saw that. So let's talk about what I read and how I felt. Overall, the books were okay. I didn't read any books that I disliked. And it was just some of the books were heavy subject matter. So when you are not mentally good in terms of not sleeping and exhausted most of the time, those are the kind of books that you really don't want to read. So I struggled to get through some of these books, but they're still good books. They just was just not, the timing was just not good. And I pushed through Riot, baby. And this was a book selected for Blackathon, and first of all, this is a really good book. It is very powerful, and it is a book that I think you can have those discussions with, in terms of when you think of, like, what are you born in, the era that you were born in, and how that affects you. It also talks about imprisonment, whether it is in a physical sense or mental. The whole idea of what it is to be free. And then it really follows a storyline that has like a sort of a puzzle and that aha moment at the end. And I thought it was creative how he did this storyline, and I wish I won't say much of it because it is short, and I feel like I'm glad I didn't really know a lot about what it's going to be about. You think of Riot, yes, there is absolutely quite a few talks of riots from the Ronnie King era, and of course the more recent ones. So it is surrounds that, but there's a lot of topic within the story, and I really thought it was powerful and very much a must read, and I think a lot of people should pick this up. But again, the subject matter is heavy. The next book is a short story collection that a down-home meal for those difficult times, which I thought was nonfiction at first, but it is not. It is fiction, and it is short story collection. I enjoy quite a few of the stories in here. There are some that was just not memorable to me. So as a collective, I don't say it's a strong book, but there are some stories within this that can stand on its own and are absolutely amazing stories. So I do say read this, but again, just keep in mind I didn't love all the stories, and a lot of short story collections, very few that ever grabbed me where I loved every single story. So to be fair, this is still a really good short story collection. Then we're going to talk about post-traumatic, and this one is another heavy one, and I started the month off with this book. Now, when I say it's another one that highlights things that we don't think about, oftentimes we think of the now and maybe what happened within like the next few months or maybe even 1 or 2 years, but never think about the long-term effect of children who are either they're sexually assaulted or abused in other ways, and how they grew up with that. And in this case, you have a woman who is experienced that as a child and the trauma that comes with it, and the idea that she has made it because she is a lawyer. She represents people who are in psychiatric institution, and out from the outside world she looks like she has it all together, but those trauma and those memories mold her and decide how she even navigates through her friendship, through the men that she dates, and how she chooses them. And I think it's an important story because you often don't hear about those people who are living with the trauma and what it looks like 20, 30, 40 years down the road. No one talks about that. It's often just what the more recent experience that is discussed. And I like that is you see her in this, and you see that human side of this character. You see her making those decisions, and you understand why. There's that idea also that was very heart-wrenching when I think about it, of how people in this case, in cases like this, having to redefine what the first time means. And I thought that was like just, and there's other things that in this, the whole idea of saving others or trying to prevent things that you really don't have any control of, but it's the idea that in your mind you can. And so I think this is another one, super heavy. I mean, it is heavy. But also I think it's a really good book to read and to get a different understanding of the long-term effect of trauma. Then we had some ebooks, and the ebooks, which I did a complete video talking about those, so go check it out. So I wanted to get into some Caribbean romance, so I'm so happy I found Kimberlisa. I think that's how she pronounced it, her name. I still never looked it up. And and she had two, it's a series, but they're standalone. You can actually read them separate. And a short story. So I only read I read the short story and the first book of the series. So the short story was Fluffy, which was very much fun, interesting. Basically, the plus size woman trying to get her groove on, and in a certain club, and when I reviewed it, basically it was just hard to really say, because I didn't want to use certain terms of where she was, but this is me using imagination. But what I liked about this is because she was plus size. I love plus size women in romance. The other downside is I didn't like that she was insecure and her weight was just an issue. And I hate when we introduce plus size character, we often fling those in there like as if like every plus size person have insecurity about their body. Didn't like that. But for the most part, I do like when she became the most desired in the space, because her body type is never there, that kind of deal. So that I give. But other than that, then we have a resort one, and this one is The Pleasure Is All Mine, and this is basically a worker who accidentally hooked up with the son of the owner of the resort at said club that Fluffy was at. Yeah. But how it happened is basically she was in a relationship with someone who basically cheated, and she found him in the act in her own home, and then she started digging about him and learning more about him and his association with this club and all these other things that she didn't know. She also is a single mother and working at the resort, so there's that struggle that she is having to do it all by herself. And here comes now this guy who happens to be the son of the owner of the resort where she works. So there's that, I do not want to get involved with this person because I need my job, and if something goes wrong. But it's interesting how they put them together. It's interesting how they talk about the Caribbean in that sense of a community who are basically very much influenced by the resort and what happened at the resort and the bad behavior of certain things, which is very much true. And but I do like that this was a true Caribbean romance. You felt like you were in the Caribbean. There's various things that's happening. It is a fictional island that the author chose, but she is from, I think, Antigua. But she used bits and pieces of different islands and to make this fictional island. But it's very much a Caribbean romance for if anyone interested. And I thought it was interesting, but there's a part two. And also this one also has a share of drama, because the resort man come with his share of drama. So both of them having to navigate through both of their mess. And so I thought that was interesting. There is a part two. I did not get to it, but it will be read for sure. Then I read Business Casual. This is by Daniel Allen, and this one I thought was, you know, another case of which is so cute when I see books like this, because I've read one like this in summer where a woman going for an interview and cross path with a man, find a person attractive, both find each other attractive, and then when they get to the you know, the interview, they realize, oh, that's the boss that you were you know, interacting with prior. And then there's also this idea that they're not allowed to date each other at the company, and what will happen if anyone finds out. So there's a lot of that going on, and then you learn why they forbid anyone from dating each other, and the consequence that they face when, you know, anything you do in the dark will come to light, that kind of deal. And so that's where this one is, and that's for all the books I read. Now the books I didn't quite finish, unfortunately I'm still not finished with this, and it's a heavy one that I feel like this was for Read So Lit, and I am literally just 100 page in, like it's a slow read. Then this is the subscriber pick, and I have about 200 pages left in this, and I'm ready to finish reading it because Anna is working my nerve. Oh my god, I despise her in this book. I do not like this woman at all in this book. I love Kitty. I love Lavelle. And I actually love the husband in this. You know, I feel for the husband. I am on the husband's side in this mess. And it's interesting. I didn't like I cannot say Vansky, which is the how the storylines. If you're not familiar with this, basically Anna is a married woman that had an affair and left her husband and her pitney. Okay, and basically ran off with Vansky. That's what you get in. But before that happened, Vansky was supposed to marry, was promised to Kitty. However, Kitty was in love with Lavin, and Lavin, of course, was heartbreaking because she couldn't pick him because her family felt she needed to do with Vansky. However, when Vansky saw Anna, yeah, I'm gonna do a full review on this, guys, because I didn't even give you like the setup of how this drama happened. But I just want to let you know, I am going through it. I literally have this much to go, and I am enjoying this, but Anna's getting on my nerves. I don't know how it's ending, but I heard that the ending might piss me off, so I'm hoping to get to it soon. But there we have it. This is where I'm reading, and that's probably gonna be the next reading vlog. I did pick March books from the jar over here, so go check out the shorts so you can see what is the book for March. That is for the subscriber pick jar, pretty much. All right, guys, I'm gonna end this here. I'm a little bit out of it as far as everything, but it's been a good week. I'm slowly getting back to myself. I can't wait to start vlogging again, because I am not used to not vlogging that much at all. I think I only did one vlog in February, and that was the first week, but other than that I did not. But anyway, we're gonna end this here, and we're going to edit this and pump out. So there will be a video on Tuesday. So it'll be 2 videos next week, and that is the goal. And then just try to get back into like a kind of scheduling that I love, which is vlogging, reading vlog on Saturdays, and then random videos on Tuesdays. So I'll see you in the next one, guys.